Welcome back and thank you for watching, everyone. I have a special little panel discussion going on today. So on my very first video, I mentioned that I wanted to talk to a group of people who have different opinions on how abuse may lead to certain traumas that we have in our lives. And so here's our panel. Right next to me, we have Anthony. Right below me, we have Leroy. And right next to Leroy, we have Tiffany. I don't know if you guys watched the video that I sent you guys, just to get a little snippet of what I was talking about. But the short story of it is there was a woman on the bus who basically was freaking out because there was a man behind her who was just excessively coughing. And my mind tends to go with me in the worst way. So what happened is it took me down the road of like how our parents brought us up to be polite and not make others feel a way about whatever it is that they're doing. So I really just wanted to have a conversation on everyone's perspective on how it is that our baby boom, I'm assuming that all of our parents are baby boomers, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yes,
So
I
my
think
mom
so.
was born in 1953.
Oh, okay. So that I don't know what time period that is, but like my mom was born in 1965.
That might be baby boomer range. I
Okay.
mean, the Gen Xers are really they know better. They know better. But you know, I touched on the hey, Uncle so and so want to say hi to you. Go say hi. Go give them a kiss. Go give them a hug. Go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever somebody
Yep.
will come up to
Yeah.
you and try to pinch your face, they never actually. If you didn't want that, if the child didn't want to receive that, they never really created a safe place for the child to kind of stand in their no and be okay with saying, no, I don't want that person to touch me. I don't want to say hi to that person. I don't want to kiss them. Nothing like that, right? They didn't do that. And so now we have a generation of people who subconsciously and consciously find it very hard to kind of say no. And I feel like for me, that has led to um, sexual abuse, that has led to sometimes verbal abuse, um, and just many other things where you just come up in life with a small example is, I don't know, taking a cab and you tell the cab driver, hey, can you please take this route? And they're like, okay, yeah, sure. And then you realize they're not taking that route. But for some reason you feel like you want to say something. And so now you're in the back of the car thinking to yourself, should I say something? Should I not say something? It's like, of course you should say something. You're paying.
Right.
But because I feel like because we've been ingrained with the do this thing and don't fuss and don't whatever, right? Um, we've been kind of told that it's okay for people to treat us however they want. So we'll start there. Who wants to go first with how they feel about whether, like, well, the question is people pleasing. How much is too much? And is there positives to that?
I was basically raised to just like my mom, she was like the ultimate like, I don't want to say people pleaser, but she was just like the person who connected everything and everyone together.
Mhm.
So being that I was the only, boy in on her side of the family, like as far as her children, she was just like, you got to be nice, you got to be polite, you got to, do extra to show that you care. And I just felt like growing up, I did whatever my mom told me to. But now as an adult, I feel like, dang, like that really stuck with me. Like I'm this very nice and warm and giving person, but that doesn't always like help me in the long run, because if you're this overly nice person, people will run all over you. Like they'll just take advantage and just, oh, AJ will do it. Like I'm the number one person to call for anybody's like, you know, dirt to clean up. Like, oh, AJ will do it. Just call him, he'll do it. And you better not say no. So that was just like, and that was just that's my DNA now. So it's just like very hard to like reverse that, especially when you can't say no to ma or mama. So it's like, you know, so
Rest in
it's
peace, mama. I would have had her come in right here and be like, do I tell you no?
Right.
So now it's just like I'm this overly nice not caretaker, but like a, you know, I'll overextend myself, which is like nowadays it's just like very, let me see what I could get out of him. Like, because they could catch on to that really quick. Like people in general, just like, yeah, let me see if I could get some extra out of him. And then, you know, I'll just be like, all right, well, I did my deed for the day. And, you know, not knowing that it took all my, you know, all of my energy. I'm just like, well, I'm just remembering what my mom told me. So it's just,
has that because you said that's you now. So did this cause any kind of trauma for you, or has living this type of life just been like surface, like the situations that you find yourself to be in are not that deep for you to have any trauma?
I mean, it definitely like caused this thing where it's like, if I don't do certain things, it's like now I'm like the most terrible person in the world. So that kind of caused trauma, because it's like, damn, am I a nice person, or am I like giving enough, or am I? So it's like a kind of like a mind trick that people play on you when they know you're that type of person. You could do like a million things, and then that one thing that you say no to, now you're this, you know, monster. Just like, he doesn't do anything, he's a piece of whatever. So that did cause trauma, and you know, it it sucks.
I
But
want to say something about that, but my little crowd that be watching me, they already know that I talk too much, so I'm gonna leave the floor open for somebody else.
yeah.
Like all that, stuff. Like I've had like a hard time with um balancing, like wanting to please people all the time and not really being conscious of the fact that I was people pleasing, and having to get conscious of that, so that way I can, like, you know, free myself from that bondage that I had on myself in regards to needing to always show up for people, and then realizing that no one was showing up for me in the way that I was showing up for them. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like, what is the reciprocity here? There is none, right? And I'm really about having balanced relationships in my life. And if you can no longer be, and the only relationships that I feel like are imbalanced in life are probably a parent and child relationship, because that's supposed to be imbalanced. The
Mm-hmm.
parent is supposed to be the caretaker, and the child is supposed to be the one that's being taken care of, right? Eventually, as you grow, you know, the dynamics change. You might need to be there more present for your parent. That all depends on like what your upbringing was and how you feel about your parent. But usually, I think, well, I don't want to say usually, but some people feel that way about their parents, and people feel that way about their children. But as an actor, um, that's stifling, right? Because when you're in rehearsal, um, you're always in your mind. You're always thinking, "Am I doing it right? Are you liking
Mm.
this thing?" And it doesn't free you up for you to be able to, like, to have a real conversation on stage or do whatever you're doing. So I found myself having a lot of performance anxiety, because I was always in my head about whether or not I was doing it right and not necessarily having fun. And go ahead.
So for you, it developed um, perfectionism, the perfectionism
Yes.
bug.
Yeah, it definitely
Mm.
did in regards to my craft. And I've gotten a lot better in regards to letting that go. And I think it had to start with like um understanding like who I am and giving voice to the things that were causing me a lot of stress. Um and setting, and one of the things that can wrap this up, not wrap it up, but like it surmises a lot of these ideas is like boundaries. You have to set boundaries, and sometimes you have to set boundaries with yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do that recently. I had to tell myself, I'm showing up for this person that I did not really want to show up for in this particular way, but I knew that in my heart I wanted to do that because you are this person. You're a white person taking up my space, but I see you as a person in general, right? um and I said, okay, you're going to be here for this moment in time, and after that, you are telling yourself no, that you can't show up anymore, right? And once I told myself that, it's hard to do that. It's hard to say
Yeah.
no, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're conditioned to saying yes all the time. So the very first time you say no, it's going to feel like you're going against yourself, right? But you have to keep saying it. Babies love saying no. They love saying no. We beat it out of babies to stop saying no and start saying yes to being more compliant, right? So we have to
Yeah.
treat ourselves like we're toddlers in reverse and saying that I'm going to continue to say no. And I'm going to say no when I don't feel like doing something. I'm going to say no when it doesn't really sit well with me. So I said no. And while it felt like a little icky, it was like because I felt like I wasn't treating this person as a person, I still was able to maintain this balance of like, you did your job. You don't have to overextend yourself. Sometimes people need to meet you halfway. I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
dislocate my shoulder in order for me to shake your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
so
Mm.
I
um,
love that.
He came
That's
ready.
dope. That's dope.
no, because I think about this stuff a lot, and I could talk about this for hours. But and this has been about 4 years of like going to therapy, talking to
Mm.
people about boundaries and stuff like that, and like really digging deep and knowing that I have more to dig into. So yeah, it's not coming from just like I've been there, and I don't want to go back, so I'm trying to like maintain this balance within my life.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
I'm I'm currently learning that myself, and it's like you said, it's tough when you're known to saying yes. So it's tough, definitely.
So I think that it's something that people have to work through. It also depends on how you were brought up, your parents, what school you went to, who you surrounded yourself with. My experience was very interesting because I grew up with Hispanic family, and they were a very big family. And it is true, they really wanted us to say yes to our parents, you know, do everything that we could for our family, like go to the store, get me some groceries, oh, help your sister with this, or, just making us run around, and we had to abide by our parents. Like, it was really bad for us to go against our parents. But growing up, I don't know what took over me. I was the black sheep of my family. So that just says a lot. And I had this like urge inside of me where I felt like, I can no longer suppress how I feel. If I feel like I'm being taken advantage of and just, being ran over by everyone and, oh, go do this, go do that. I was exhausted at the end of the day, especially during my like teenage years. I just wanted to make everyone proud. I wanted to keep everyone happy. But then all of that pressure like made me break out of that habit. And I was just like listening to my voice. I went on a journey where I had to kind of dive into my intuition, my spirit, who I am, who I want to be, and listening to my voice when I felt something was wrong, when I felt like, okay, this person is taking advantage, or, this person is no longer giving you that energy that you give them. They're taking too much and not giving back. I learned the hard way how to kind of build up that shield against people who just want to take from you. And also, it was hard to communicate that to other people who aren't on your same like spiritual level or energetic level. And it is really hard not to hurt people when you want to tell them, no, I can't, I'm sorry. Like I need to focus on myself and do what I have to do, and I needed to understand that. But there are ways to get around it with communication and, putting yourself first is so important. And if people truly do care about you and love you, I feel like why not, give that person the benefit of the doubt. Let them do what they have to do, understand why they need to do these things. And it's really hard for older generations and the upcoming generation. They are definitely being, brainwashed into people pleasing, complying, being obedient. And I feel like I was lucky to break out of that shell. So right now I teach students about boundaries, about certain life skills like self-care and how it's important. I'm a counselor at a school, and it's been really rewarding to kind of educate the upcoming generation on standing up for yourself, self-advocating, letting people know what you need and how they can help you get that. And it's been really amazing, honestly. Especially working with young kids, they absorb it and they're just like, wow, like I can't believe that this is something that I can learn. And, you just have to take the steps, seek that help. If you can get counseling or therapy, it can definitely change your life. And I'm all for saying no. Like people need to take care of themselves. You come first. Your health, your mental health, your physical health, everything. It is important. And people that love you and truly want what's best for you will understand you saying no. And they would appreciate it too.
They're not gonna appreciate it, but they're gonna understand that no is a complete sentence. That's
Mhm.
it.
Right.
Mhm.
And you need
That's
to
it.
respect it.
And
Period. Exclamation point.
so we touched on kids, but I want to go a little bit deeper for a little bit. Leroy mentioned listening to your parents until a certain age. So do you feel like no matter what, you should just, even if you know it's stupid and ain't right, you should go on, and if they tell you to do this thing, just do it without having a conversation, of course. I'm not telling kids to be rebellious, but I think saying, well, well, let's, the parents of today, right? Because the baby boomers, they gonna slap you, period. Like I said what I said, that's it. But like for the parents of today, do you think it's better for the kid to just, if they feel a way about it, it's good for them to kind of question it? Do you feel like, no, just listen to your parents? Because I had to.
No, I
There's a
think that,
balance.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Definitely.
Well,
You can respectfully speak your truth and come to an understanding in a respectful way. You can do that. I think so.
and how does a parent, how do today's parent um prepare themselves for that? Because I feel like some parents, they're losing it. They don't want to be like their parents, and so they're allowing their kids to do absolutely whatever. And then you have the ones who are continuing on the tradition of do exactly what I tell you to do. Um,
But that's speaking to breaking generational curses, right? And like trauma that
Mm.
people have gone through. So I feel like someone who felt like they were suffocated within their upbringing, they have this, either people usually go two ways in life, well, multiple ways, but like when it comes down to their parents, it's like I'm either going to do things the exact same way my parents raised me, or I'm going the complete opposite way of what my parent did. Because with one, they felt like their childhood was really really good, and that they turned out to be really great human beings. The other, they felt they probably understand on some level that they aren't the best, and they don't want their children to turn out like how they turned out, so therefore they're not going to treat their children how their parents treated them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's like a whole other thing. But I feel like if I think that anybody who has a child needs to take the first step in like analyzing themselves before they decide to have children and understand what good parenting is. People who
Mhm.
jump into having kids right away risk the the this idea of of ruining your child and passing on your trauma onto them because you're impulsively um, being a parent. And I'm not a parent, so I can't really tell you how to raise somebody or how to raise a child. I know from what I've experienced growing up, I was like, I'm not gonna bring my a kid into like no bullshit. Can I curse here?
Not really.
Sorry, you might need to bleep that out.
Listen, my platform is very transparent, and if that's the word that you want to use right now, then use it.
Okay, yeah, to bring no child to no bullshit. I'm just like, this is like, I want when I have kids, I want to be able to like parents are not perfect, right? And I had to understand as I grew up, like I had like really deep conversations with both my mom and my dad, and we've come to a better understanding of each other, right? And I think that I could have had a more like a better understanding of them at a much younger age if they allowed healthy conversation like Tiffany had said, right? For me
Mhm.
not to be scared to approach them about certain things that I was feeling, particularly about them, because if you sit there and say like I'm the parent and what I say goes and you don't question me, you run the risk of your child not talking to you at all because they think that if they bring up the smallest thing that you're going to be mad at them. And you don't want to like you want your child to respect you. You don't want your child to fear you like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I took the time and was like, I might want to have kids one day, and if I do, I know this is how I want to raise my child. I know that there's going to be mistakes, but at least I know that I won't be making these crazy mistakes from a ego-based platform, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah.
I know when I started my journey of recognizing like this isn't right. It started when I was a teenager, and man, that journey with my mom was crazy because there was so many things that I would constantly try to talk to her about. She's like, I never did that. What are you talking about? And I'm like, bruh, so this car right here, we this car, how did this show up? You know what I mean? And it is just so crazy. But I will say towards um, maybe, I don't know, 5 years shy of her passing, at some point, I brought it up so much that I wore her down to where she's like, okay, let me look at that person in the mirror and see what this little girl talking about. Okay, because she's driving me nuts. And she came to a point um, where she's like, you know what? I did the best I could. Okay, I see what you're saying, but I did the best I could. And I'm like, that's all I wanted to hear. I just wanted you to admit a lot of like that's what's happening. Like a lot of times I feel
Mhm.
that kids just want to hear, I did do that.
Mhm.
My bad, but I did what I could.
Yeah, like a
And that's
simple,
it.
yeah.
But some of them, sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Some of them don't even want to admit. That's all I wanted to say. They don't even want to admit it, which I have a brother who the podcast that's coming out tomorrow, I speak about it where he is so traumatized because my mom just refused to admit to the things that he was bringing to her. And so that trauma has built it has built him into a such a negative person to be around that now I had to pull myself away from him until he's ready to be a better person, because this journey also calls for um, knowing the type of people that you want to be around, and not, even if they're family, not putting yourself around them just because blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't deal with that. So what, if any, is the positive of maybe people pleasing? I would think you would have something, Anthony.
Positive.
You said it became your character. Like that's who you are now.
I mean, I feel like as far as like what was instilled in me, it's like that person is the glue that holds everything together as far as the family. So being that my mom was the people pleaser, everybody knows who everybody is, everybody knows how to reach this person, everybody knows this is your aunt, this is your uncle, this is blah 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 da 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 da.
Okay.
And without that, it's like you could go on not knowing, oh, this is my uncle, such and such. This is da da da. And that all came out of just people pleasing. So
That's a great point, actually, because
yeah.
through my journey, I've literally cut off everybody. Only only the middle child I told you now. And this was a decision that I made throughout my 20s. And I remember telling my mom, the day that you leave this earth, that's it. She was the bridge. She was the bridge.
Mhm.
And I have a real issue with being around somebody for 10 years and not seeing them change. To me, that's unacceptable. And also what's unacceptable is, okay, fine, you don't want to change, but this is what I'm telling you I'm about, and you can't respect that. Okay, I'm out. And so I've said, like, if I do have children, it's just really sad. I want to marry a man who has a great family environment, because they're not going to know anybody on my side. Anybody.
Mhm.
No, like nobody. So that's really sad, but that's a great point.
I think that's very brave of you for standing your ground and honoring who you are and putting up those healthy boundaries that will separate you from people who want to hurt you or take advantage of you or that just don't bring anything to you that's positive. And I completely respect that, and I'm all for it.
You know, Tiffany, I love your energy. There's an incident that happened years ago that I can't even remember the detail of it because I honestly wasn't there. So a lot of what I know was hearsay. Um, but I do remember what I did witness was very like, okay, that's what you want. That's fine. I'll step away. And you stepped away. You didn't look angry. You didn't look happy. You was just peaceful. Like, okay, I don't need to be here. And I'm just like, I want that. I want to be that, because I'm very like hot-blooded, okay? And I'm not gonna step away until we have a fight. Period. Right? And so I'm really like learning to humble myself and submit to myself and just feel the feeling, like honor the feeling, but you don't have to make it this big old thing. Like, just remove yourself and that's it. Respect people's boundaries, and if that boundary is, if that person is telling you to remove yourself, and that's it. You don't have to fight no more. That's it. So
Right.
as you were talking, I was thinking of that incident. And I'm just like, girl, you don't even know. I love that about you. Love it. And it's like, you
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah, you welcome whoever. Like, you want to, okay, yeah, hey, how you doing? And if you don't, I'm cool with that too. I'm living my life, and that's what I do. I just want to live my
Right.
life.
You just
Yeah,
gotta
that's
keep it moving.
a
Mhm.
definitely important thing to learn. Like I had to also learn that myself, like, you know, respecting boundaries. Like I was always this person like, hey, I'm a friendly guy. Hello, hey, hey. Not all the time, but like I'm a extrovert, so I love talking to people. So I now I can read people's energy. Like, does this person want to talk, or do I want to be laughy and just cracking jokes with this person, or like I like fill out the room first before I like even present myself. So that's definitely a good thing to keep, like you know boundaries and just like respecting people's space and energy and you know
Yeah. I
Well,
completely agree with that.
yeah.
anything else? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I love how you jumped into the introvert extrovert conversation. I think that is so interesting and amazing. Um, because my journey was kind of like a blend of both. At first, I was an extrovert. I wanted to mingle, socialize. I wanted to just see what people were about. And as I got older, I became very picky about who I
Exactly.
spend my time with. Like, I
Yeah.
realized that time is so valuable and precious, and like
Hmm.
we never get a second back. We can't go back into time. And if you can, hit me up. We can make plans. We can go into the past and, invest in some bitcoins and all of that good stuff. But there, I'm like, oh man, just being around people and certain types of people, not all, is kind of exhausting.
It
And
is.
I feel like there has to be some type of balance where you kind of go back, fall back, and recuperate, get your energy back, and not do too much.
I don't know why you guys doing this to me, okay? I want this to be like to be a 3-hour thing. But for the second time, let's close out by, I don't know, either whatever thoughts you're having right now, or whatever it is that you want to share, one tip with somebody from your personal journey that you may want to share that helped you kind of get out of that. Or if you're like more like Anthony, who this has become your personality, how do you manage? How do you manage it?
I think it all boils down to just self-love, self-care, just knowing like if you do too much of anything, it's gonna wear you out in some way. So just mental health is definitely important. So you just wanna know what you can handle and just go with that. Just like don't overdo anything, especially as an adult. Like, you don't want to overdo anything. You just want things to come natural, be organic, and that way things don't seem like it's too much for you, you know? So I think that's what it all boils down to.
um, my my journey was all about finding that inner voice that brings you happiness, that ensures that you are valuing your morals, your boundaries, your expectations, what makes you you. And also finding an outlet, I feel is so important. Anything that just brings you complete joy, happiness, I feel like that will help you kind of transcend and find your higher being, like who you are, and staying true to that. And it's such a beautiful journey. It can be anything. Like for me, it was a mixture of things. It was yoga, it was school, studying, getting an education, it was exercising,
Mhm.
painting, anything that helps you relax, tune out, it makes you feel happy and complete. I feel like that would help you really enjoy your life, honestly, because we only have one and it's so short. So it's so
Yeah,
important that people know this, you know, do what you love. Don't listen to what people tell you to do. Like do what you want to do. Make you happy. This is your life, your journey. And it's beautiful too. It can be so beautiful. And I just think self-care is like top top priority. Your health, self-care, and then comes your job, your career, everything else falls in after that.
Right.
Because if you're not loving yourself, who is? Who
exactly.
will?
Okay.
Exactly. And thank you for bringing
Leroy?
up yoga real quick. Sorry.
Yes, yoga is amazing.
I need to get into that so bad. Like I really do.
Look up yoga sun salutation. That is my favorite, favorite, favorite. It's like a flow that you do. It's like about, I think it's about like 12 poses, and it's
Mhm.
like very easy. Beginners can do it, and it is so relaxing, therapeutic. You kind of challenge yourself a little bit, but it's good to challenge yourself. And I kid you not, you are going to feel lighter, brighter, happier. You're going to start seeing different colors. You're just gonna feel like you went into a whole other dimension, and it is amazing.
Thank you for that. Definitely.
Yeah, of course, anytime.
Moving meditation.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes,
yeah,
so
I'm a
good.
big yoga. I do hot yoga. I only do hot yoga now, so and that keeps me right where I need to be. Um, the thing that I would sit there and say for myself that if I was talking to, like, if I was talking to my younger self, I would sit there and say, it's okay to make mistakes, and don't be afraid of disappointing people. Because one thing about me, and I feel like has been maybe constant in my life for the past maybe for as long as I can remember, is that um, if you have a reputation of being honorable, no one's going to fault you from when you need to take time for yourself. So always, as everyone else has said, like, prioritize yourself, because no one else is going to do it. You're not going to be anyone else's main priority, maybe other than your parent, but you are going to be your only. You should be your main priority in this life, right?
Hmm.
Because no one else is going to do it, and because they are their own priority. Everyone, we got four people right here, so we got four universes. We have each one of us thinks that we're the center of our own universe, right? And
Right.
everything, all the other planets revolves around us. It's not saying it's not that's not a negative thing. It's just that this is how I perceive the world around me. Is that again the world around me, and I'm entering it, and I choose to leave it when I want to. I am the center of my own universe, and you're going to collide with different universes as you continue to live your life. And it's okay to ask yourself the really, really deep questions, to go deep. It's okay to just, log off. Do what makes you the happiest, and your happy can change. It's okay to change. It's okay to not hold the same opinion that you had 10 years ago, because guess what? You lived life and you gain more information. Um, so yeah, I sit there and say to be as um, challenge yourself, but be as flexible as you possibly can be.
I
Dope.
agree. As you were talking, I was thinking definitely get to know who you are, because that's important with the choices that you're going to make in life. Um, have boundaries for yourself and respect other people's boundaries. And in all of that, remain flexible, because you have to. Everybody is constantly, we're mutable, we're not fixed. Thank you guys so much for coming. Hopefully, we can have this conversation again some other day for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
See you guys in March, because like I told y'all, it's going to be bi-weekly because we busy in these streets. Okay. Thank you so
Yes.
much for showing up, for watching. Make sure you comment and follow everyone on the platform. I'll make sure to put Tiffany's Instagram in the description below. Thank you so much and have a great day.
All right.
Thank you so much for having us. I
Yes, thank
loved
you.
this conversation. You guys are amazing.
Yes,
Love and
definitely.
peace. Love you guys.
All right. Peace.
Also, if
Bye.
anybody's in Mill Valley, California, come check me out. I'm doing this show called Passover. It's by this playwright. Her name is Antoinette Nwandu, and we're running until the end of the month. So yeah, come check it out.
Nice. Nice. All right.
Is this in person and virtual?
We have one more recording of the show, and then they're going to decide whether or not they're going to choose which one they're going to stream. But you can see it in person.
Okay,
Cool.
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 Thank you guys.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Love, love,
All right.
love. Bye.
Thank you for having us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.